Behind every single pill in your medicine cabinet, every vaccine, every treatment, there is just a mountain of data. And whether that medicine is safe, whether it's effective, it all depends on one crucial thing. Is that data telling the truth?
So what is data integrity? Well, at its heart, it's really simple. It just means that the data you record is exactly what you get back later. No little changes, nothing left out, no mistakes. As you see here, the official definition calls it being complete, consistent, and accurate. Honestly, it's the absolute foundation of trust in modern medicine.
And that, of course, leads to the most important question of all. What happens when the data is incomplete, or inconsistent, or just plain wrong? And we're not talking about a failed inspection here or a small slap on the wrist. The consequences, well, they can be absolutely catastrophic.
To really get how things can go so wrong, we first have to understand how companies learn to get them right. And spoiler alert, it's not like flipping a switch. It's a journey. A journey of awareness that kind of looks a lot like how you or I would learn any new skill.
It all starts from a place of ignorance, really. A company can be completely in the dark, totally unaware that a problem even exists. So before you can even think about a fix, the whole organization has to go on this journey of consciousness. It has to finally wake up and confront its own issues.
So this journey, it pretty much unfolds in 4 distinct stages. First up, you've got unconscious incompetence. That's when they don't even know they have a problem. Then something happens, maybe a bad audit, a crisis, and bam, they get shocked into conscious incompetence. Now they see the gap. That's when the real work starts, moving into conscious competence, where doing things right takes a ton of effort. And the final goal? Unconscious competence. That's where good practice becomes so automatic, it's just second nature. It's like breathing.
So what happens when a company gets stuck in those early incompetent stages? Let's look at a real-world example. A cautionary tale of what happens when the data doesn't just have a few errors, it tells outright lies.
Okay, I want you to travel back with me to Australia in 2003. There was a company called Pharmaceuticals, and they were a giant in the industry. But then, regulators uncovered something just shocking. Widespread, systematic, and get this, deliberate manipulation of their quality control data. This company was totally stuck in that first stage of incompetence, and their wake-up call was about to be brutal.
The financial fallout was immediate, and it was staggering. We're talking $350 million of the company's value just gone, vanished, wiped clean off the stock exchange in a single day.
But the real cost, the human cost, wasn't just in dollars. It was measured in recalled products, over 1,600 of them. It was measured in hundreds of people losing their jobs and entire businesses that relied on Pan being devastated. And maybe most damaging of all, patients all across the country lost faith in the very medicines that were supposed to keep them healthy.
So how do companies avoid this kind of disaster? How do they actually climb that ladder of competence and build systems that can hold up? The answer isn't as simple as just buying some new fancy software. It's all about building a culture of truth.
The path forward really boils down to 2 things. You need smarter systems, yeah, but even more important than that, you need to foster a much more open culture. Let's dig into the systems first.
On the system side, the changes are actually pretty practical. You automate data capture wherever you possibly can, just to cut down on human error. You make sure the official records are right there where the work is happening, so nobody's scribbling notes on a scrap of paper to type up later. You basically make doing the right thing the easy thing.
But look, systems alone are never enough. At the end of the day, it all comes down to culture. In a blame culture, people are terrified to report a problem. Any little mistake can mean losing your job. So what happens? Problems get hidden, they get buried. But contrast that with an open culture, where reporting issues is actually encouraged. Mistakes are treated as chances to learn, and so problems get dragged out into the light where they can actually be solved.
It really all comes down to this simple truth, doesn't it? You cannot encourage reporting with a threat hanging over people's heads. It just doesn't work. You can't ask your staff to be honest while also threatening to fire them for making a mistake. That's how you build a culture of fear, not a culture of truth.
So we've been talking about big corporate systems and culture, but let's bring this all the way back home. Why does any of this really matter to you personally?
because data integrity isn't just some boring, technical jargon for a factory floor somewhere. No, it's the invisible shield. It is the proof, the final check, that the medicine you give your child or that your parents take every day is exactly what it's supposed to be. It is the most important quality check of all.
So the next time you open a bottle of medicine, just remember this. The final line of defense protecting you isn't a machine. It's not a computer program. It's a culture of integrity. And that leaves all of us with one really critical question. Is the system that delivers our medicine truly built on a foundation of truth?